Well, it's Dion here. I just thought I would make a quick video. There's something I wanted to mention in this video that I was just watching in another video. I was watching this guy's video, and he was on methadone for 5 or 6 years, and he got off. And he was explaining how he got off without having any withdrawal or anything, and that was all fine. But he titled his video, "What It's Like to Be a Methadone Addict." Okay? There's no such thing as being a methadone addict. I mean, for the most part. I mean, I think it's possible to become addicted to methadone. And kind of, I mean, I think it's possible. But the methadone that I take, and when you go to a clinic, and what he was describing was not being in addiction, not being addicted to methadone so much. I mean, if I was addicted to methadone, I wouldn't have to put one of my doses out on my counter to remind me to take it. Being addicted is an obsession to use the drug, even when it's doing negative things to hurt your life in the process. That's what addiction is using a drug regardless of the negative consequences it's causing you. When I take methadone, I don't use it in an addictive sort of fashion. I'm not addicted to it. I might be physically dependent on it. That's true. If I was to go without it for several days, I think I would become ill. But I'm not addicted to it. I mean, if I was addicted to it, I wouldn't have to remember to take it every day, because if I don't put it out and I don't see it on my counter when I'm getting ready for work, I will forget to take it. And I've done that on a couple of occasions. And then, even though I don't really get sick, it bothers me that I forgot to take my medication. But I wouldn't say that I'm a methadone addict. I'm not a methadone addict. I'm somebody who is dependent on methadone physically, and I might be ill if I was to go without it for a few days, but I'm not a methadone addict. Okay? Do I think there are people that are methadone addicts? Yes, I think there are people out there that are methadone addicts, but I think those are people that are mostly not going to a clinic and not taking it in a setting where it makes it difficult to become physically addicted to it. And there'd be no sense to me being a methadone addict, because you don't get high from it. I mean, I'm not getting any type of euphoric buzz from it whatsoever. So that really pissed me off when I saw this video. You know, when he said what it's like to be a methadone addict. I don't even think this guy was addicted to methadone, because he was talking about how it helped him in a lot of ways, and he talked about some of the positive things about methadone, but he also talked about some of the negative things. And I'm not saying there aren't any negative connotations when it comes to methadone. You know, when you first get on methadone, you have to go every single day to the clinic, you know, sometimes for a lengthy period of time, and that can be an inconvenience for people. If you have a job and stuff you have to go to every day, it could be a really big inconvenience to have to go to a methadone clinic, because most methadone clinics that I'm aware of, at least in where I come from, my city, the city I live in, all of the methadone clinics are on the east side of town. I live on the west side of town, so I have to travel all the way across town to get to the clinic. And I was having to take the bus there most of the time. I got a ride for about 2 or 3 years. My father-in-law gave me a ride to the clinic every time I had to go, which kind of made me spoiled in a way, because when he got sick and he wasn't able to take me anymore, I had to suddenly stop going to the clinic, because I had to quit the clinic for about 6-7 months. And That was the time I got off methadone when I was 9 months, when I was clean for 9 years. The reason I got off is because I had no longer had transportation to get down there, and I couldn't walk to the bus stop. I gained so much weight that I couldn't even walk to the bus stop. One of the negative side effects of methadone is, and it doesn't happen to everyone, but it does happen to a lot of people, is you put on a lot of weight. Before I got on methadone, I probably weighed 90 pounds. I was a little underweight before I got on methadone. Okay. Um, when I graduated high school, I was maybe 97, 98 pounds. So I was a little under what I normally should weigh. Um, when I first got on methadone, I was underweight. But after I got on methadone, I was suddenly putting on weight and putting on weight. And I'm up to 42 pounds now, which is pretty big for my size. I'm only 5'2", 5'3". I was always 5'3", but I measured at a doctor's office 5'2" for some reason, and that was weird because I've always thought I was 5'3". But regardless of whether I'm 5'2" or 5'3", being 242 pounds is definitely overweight. But even though I'm that big, I'm okay with myself. I mean, I'm okay with me being the way that I am. I would rather be this way on methadone and be clean off drugs than be anorexically thin and be on drugs. So I'm happier, and believe it or not, I like myself better being bigger than I did smaller. Because when I was that skinny, people would look at me and think I was either anorexic or I was on hardcore drugs. And it was the latter of the two, but it was not something I wanted to just openly admit to people. Oh yeah, I'm just skinny because I'm addicted to hardcore drugs. I just told people I had something wrong with me, and I consequently lost a lot of weight. In fact, I saw my dad for the first time in many years, and I was really, really skinny, maybe less than 90 pounds. And I know they were looking at me like, what was wrong with me? And I told them I had something medically wrong with me. I said I have some kind of stomach issue, and I've been losing weight over the course of the last couple of years, and it's been difficult for me to put the weight back on. And they bought that story, but I eventually told my dad on the phone after a year or two that the reason I was so skinny is because I was addicted to drugs. And he was really shocked because he never thought I would do drugs, being that I watched my mother, her life fall apart on drugs, and he thought that would be a good life lesson for me to never use drugs after seeing what I saw with my mother. And I would think so too. I never thought I would get on drugs. I never in my life, my wildest dreams, ever thought that I would ever get on drugs. I hated drugs. I hated what they did to you. I hated how they affected people, how they affected everyone's life around them. I mean, I hated drugs. I grew up really despising drugs. But then I fell in love with a man who was addicted, and I suddenly looked at drugs in a different light, and it suddenly made me curious, like, what is it about this drug that he can't stop? That nothing that I do will make him stop. I mean, nothing I say, nothing I do, the love I have for him, nothing will make this man stop using the drug. And it made me curious, what is so great about this drug that I can't get him to stop? And after a couple of years of being with him, I tested the waters. I tried the drug, and I would say within 30 days of me trying this drug, I was doing it every day. And I was pretty much addicted at that point. And it was awful. It was an awful existence. But it really messed up my life big time in a lot of ways. And I just I hated my life every day for the way that I was living. I lost a lot because of the damn drugs. My best friend from high school, she joined the Navy, and because of my drug addiction and how rapidly I went downhill, we lost contact after I moved to Las Vegas, and we did reconnect for a brief period of time years later, but I was lying to her about the fact that I was clean. I told her that I was clean and stuff, and I was clean from the drug I was doing when we were still friends. I was doing crack cocaine. That was the drug that catapulted me into addiction. And but I was doing heroin when we reconnected. I saw her on Facebook and I left her a message, and she responded, and we started talking on the phone for a brief period of time. But I don't know if she maybe suspected I was still in my addiction somehow, but we didn't stay connected for very long before we lost contact again. And I felt it was for the best that we lose contact because I was still in my addiction, and I didn't like the idea of having to be deceitful to her. I just felt I would rather reconnect with her when I truly am in a better place and I can be honest with her about what's going on in my life. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of a stuff called urea. I bought this stuff called urea cream, and it's supposed to be good for calluses, removing scaly hard skin from hands and feet or anywhere in the body except for the face. You have to have a very gentle version of it for the face because it can really sting or burn the face if you use a high concentration of urea on the face. So I bought a small jar of this. It's 42% urea with 2% salicylic acid or something. And I've been using it on my hands a little bit because on my hands, right this part of my hand, I have I don't know if it's a callus or what it is, but it's like a hard piece of skin that kind of is peeling a little bit, and I'm trying to get rid of it somehow. So I bought this urea for my feet and for my hands because my feet have hard skin on them, and my hands are usually kind of rough and they're not really very soft. So I bought this urea for my hands and feet, and I'm hoping that it'll help my hands soften up and get rid of this hard patch. And I'm gonna put it on my feet when I shower. Right now my feet are a little bit dirty, and I don't want to put cream on my feet when they're dirty. But I know this is off topic, but we don't always have to be talking about methadone or addiction. We can talk about different things as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about, which I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this, but my hair was super long several years ago. I mean, down past my butt. And I asked my younger cousin, I said, can you just cut off this much just to cut off the dead ends? Well, she cut this much off, okay? And I was so mad. I didn't want to get mad at her. I love my cousin dearly, and I didn't want to get mad at her over it. So I kind of let it go and just I was pissed, but I didn't want to, be mad at her about it because she didn't know any better, and she thought she was doing a good thing, so I couldn't be upset with her. But I have been struggling to get my hair to grow back out to the length it was before. And I watched this guy who was on YouTube. The name of his YouTube channel is called The Blowout Professor. The Blowout Professor, sorry. And he's a hairstylist who works in Florida, and he 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 specializes in the health of your hair and growing out your hair. That's what his specialty is in his field, and he makes a lot of YouTube videos regarding how to get your hair healthy and strong. He has this thing. It's called his Trinity. What is it called? Trinity unit or Trinity hair Trinity. I can't think of something Trinity. I can't think of what it's called. Um, and there's three things that you should always have for your hair to keep it healthy. A good shampoo and conditioner, and what he means by a good shampoo and conditioner, he means not a generic shampoo and conditioner that you get from like your local drugstore or grocery store, but a professional grade shampoo and conditioner. And so I found a good shampoo and conditioner he has a website, and he has a quiz that you can take to find out what type of hair you have. Either it's thin hair, medium hair, or coarse hair. And depending on what type of hair you have, he has a certain designated products that you should buy for your exact hair type. And so I think I have like medium hair. I took this quiz a couple times, and I think I have like medium hair. It's not super thin, but it's not coarse hair either. So I'm saving to get the shampoo and conditioner that he recommended. It's Moroccan oil shampoo. It's like $86 for a shampoo and conditioner for the set, and it'll probably last me a good 2+ years because I only wash my hair once a week. And that's another thing that he recommends when he makes his videos. He recommends not washing your hair more than a couple times a week, at most once a week or twice a week. He said because washing your hair strips your hair of its natural oils and makes it less healthy and less able to grow at its fullest potential. He said a lot of people, their hair is growing, and you can always tell their hair is growing, especially if they have colored hair, where they color treat their hair, because you can see at the top of their roots where the hair is grown in. But there's no length coming through on the bottom. It's not showing in the length, all the hair growth that they've actually gotten. And the reason why is because their ends are really damaged, and before it got to be actual length, it would show in the length of their hair. The hair was breaking off, and he said turns to like dust, basically. It just breaks off, and you never notice the length that you should notice with all the hair growth that you're getting. So he said the best thing to use on your ends to protect your ends from breaking off and turning to dust is to use hair oil. I got some hair oil here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. The hair oil he recommends for my hair type is Olaplex number 7, which is this. But as you can see, I have got just a little bit left. But I found on Amazon this hair oil, okay, which is very similar to the Olaplex, and it's half the price. I'm still going to buy the Olaplex when I have the money to, but I was running low on it, and I couldn't afford to buy a bottle of Olaplex. I just didn't have the money to. I'm making very little money right now at this job that I'm at. I'm making almost nothing. So I really have to conserve and watch my pennies. So I bought this um, to to use on my hair temporarily until I'm able to buy the Olaplex again in the next couple weeks. But I'll show you how it works. Like, my hair is in a ponytail right now, um, so what you do is you put some of it in your hand, and it doesn't just pour out. It's got this kind of cap where it just comes out like by drips out. So I'm gonna try to get enough in my hand. Okay, so then you rub your hands together, and it smells really good. It smells like lemony something, and and you rub it on the ends of your hair, like so, and it seals. I'm gonna even use a little bit more. It seals your ends like magic. It just seals your ends. And I did research on this new version of the Olaplex to make sure that it still had the properties that would be beneficial to my hair, just like the the Olaplex was. Okay, well, it seals the ends. It might seem like it's greasy right now, but actually, once you brush it out, see the dry ends just soak up the oil, just absolutely soak it up, and seal the ends and prevent a lot of breakage from happening. And it's like a miracle for your hair, and it allows your hair to grow to its fullest potential, without the breakage and the split ends. So, in another month or so, I'm gonna go ahead, because I got my dead ends cut for the first time in many years, and I think it was November, December, or something like that. So I think I'm gonna get another trim on my hair sometime in sometime um, in the next month or so. I'm gonna get another trim in my hair. But the stuff that he recommends, if you have medium to fine hair, is Olaplex number 7. Okay, you can find it on Amazon for $30. And this stuff here is called Viola V. Okay? Okay, hair instant shine oil for all hair types. And it's Smart Frizz treatment. And it prevents breakage. It adds shine, but the most important thing that it does is it moisturizes, brings moisture back to the ends of your hair. Your ends are the oldest parts of your hair. Okay, this is what this guy, the blowout professor, explains on his channel. He said that your ends are the oldest parts of your hair, and you have to really pay special attention to that part of your hair and take care of it if you want it to stay intact and not break off and turn to dust, as he puts it. So the best way to take care of it is to put this bonding hair oil on the ends of your hair. And he also said when you take a shower, when you wash your hair, you should only be putting shampoo on your head, not on the length of your hair, because that strips your hair of its natural oils. You should only be washing your scalp, where your roots are, where the excess oil is collecting. You should scrub it vigorously with your fingertips, um, to get all of the excess hair oil removed from your hair. The buildup of hair oil that's built up over the past week or so since you last washed it was, and rinse it, and then you should put conditioner, but your conditioner should never go on the roots of your hair. Conditioner for your hair should only go on the length of your hair all the way to your all the way to your ends, and you should leave it on there for several minutes. So the first thing you do when you get in the shower is wash your hair, put conditioner on the length of your hair. So from here down, the conditioner goes, okay? And then go about your regular shower routine. Shave, wash yourself, do whatever you do. And then by the time you're done doing all that, it's about the right time to rinse off the conditioner. But at least, once every other week or so, or if your hair is really damaged, even more so, even more often, you should be using a hair mask. It's conditioner, but it's conditioner that goes deeper into the hair, and it conditions from within and moisturizes from within, and is a better source of conditioner for your hair than just a regular conditioner that came with your shampoo. So you want to use a hair mask. When you use a hair mask, you don't use your regular conditioner on that particular day. You just use shampoo and the hair mask, because using the conditioner on top of the hair mask is just kind of pointless. So you can wash your hair, put the hair mask, and the hair mask again only goes from this part down to your ends, and you should leave the hair mask on for about 6 to 8 minutes. 8 minutes would be even better. If you have to set a timer on your phone or something to make sure you keep it on for the right amount of time, then you should do that. That's what I do. On days that I'm going to use my hair mask, I set the timer on my phone so that I make sure that I leave it on long enough. And he recommends a microfiber towel when you're drying your hair. And I actually bought microfiber towels for taking a shower that I use for my body and for my hair. He said because it causes less friction and less tangling with your hair. It's a better type of material to use when wrapping your hair up with a towel. These are just all points that he mentions in his videos. You don't have to follow all of these things. I'm just giving you the information that he's given throughout the videos I've watched of his. And after you get out of the shower, you should use a wet brush. They have actual wet brushes that are called wet brushes. It says wet brush on the brush. Or you can get a brush that's similar to a wet brush that isn't exactly a wet brush per se, but is a brush used to brush your hair when it's wet. Okay, and it's a brush where the bristles are spread apart and they're flexible, and they don't rip your hair out when they're going through your hair and getting out any tangles. And when you brush your hair, you should be starting from the ends and moving up, not up going down. So that's something I always forget to do. I'm just used to going down, but I usually never have any tangles in my hair, so it's not really a big deal. Especially after I've used conditioner, my hair is so soft and so tangle free. It's not even funny. So I brush out my hair, and he recommends using leave-in conditioner. Leave-in conditioner. You should be focusing in on your mids, from here down to your ends. Okay, because once you get out of the shower, all the conditioner that you use, including this leave-in conditioner, including the hair mask conditioner that you use, it worked really great when you're in the shower, but once you get out of the shower and you towel dry your hair, it's already leaking out moisture, especially on your ends, because when you get a haircut, it leaves like a hole in the bottom of your hair where moisture is always leaking out. So if you leave in conditioner in your hair, it puts moisture back into the hair that won't leak out. And then after you're done doing that, you put in some hair oil. Okay, now I recommend the Olaplex 7, number 7 bonding oil. Is the first choice that you should use. And if you can afford to get it, get that. But if you can't afford to get that immediately, and you might need to save a few pennies to get that, then I would suggest getting Viola V. It's Viola and then V. And you can find it on Amazon. Both of these are on Amazon. This is about $15, give or take. This is exactly $30. And you can usually receive it within the 24 hours. I ordered both of them, and when I received it, it was the very next day I received it. So, I know this is a video that I usually talk about addiction and methadone and all that. I just thought I would talk about something else for a moment. But anyway, I've been trying to grow my hair out back to the length it was several years ago before my cousin chopped a big chunk of it off. And I noticed that my hair is growing more, and it's more noticeably growing since I've been using this system. My hair is pretty long. It's down to my butt. I also take vitamins for my hair. I take biotin. That's a vitamin that's really good for your hair. I haven't bought the conditioner and shampoo that he recommends on his website because I just haven't had the money to spend almost $100 on shampoo and conditioner. I will eventually get that, but I still have shampoo right now that I use, and the shampoo I have is not generic shampoo. It's not shampoo that you buy from a drugstore. It's a more expensive shampoo that I got. I got it. I forget who it was made by, but it's not a generic shampoo, and it claims to have biotin in it. It's biotin shampoo. But this guy, the blow-up professor, says that when you buy something for your hair that claims to have biotin in it, he said it's probably a bunch of bullshit, because biotin is a vitamin that you take orally, and the only way to get it in your system to actually do any good for you is when you take it orally. If you just slather it on your hair, it's not going to do anything. At least that's what he says. So I don't know how true or not true that is, but I'm working on being able to buy that shampoo and conditioner, hopefully, in the future sometime. But I have quite a bit of the other shampoo and conditioner that I've already had. I've had quite a bit of it left, so rather than have my money just go down the tubes and throw that out when there's still plenty of it left, I'm going to use what I have until it's almost gone, and then I'll focus on getting the stuff that he recommends. I'm working on it. I'm working at a job making perpetually minimum wage, so I really have to watch my pennies because I have bills to pay too. I have rent to pay, my phone bill to pay, and other odds and ends that I need to pay. So I can't just go and splurge and buy $100 shampoo and conditioner like nothing. I really have to conserve my money and spend every penny very wisely. But I recommend just watching his videos. Like I said, his name is the Blow Up Professor. That's the name of his channel. And he's got many videos about tips for growing out your hair, how to get your hair really healthy again if it's not healthy in a healthy state right now. Sorry, my voice is cracking, sorry. He helps you try to get your hair back in a healthy state if it's kind of in an unhealthy state at the moment. But I really like his videos. They're very informative, and I like watching his videos. They've been everything he's recommended to get. I've gotten other than the shampoo and conditioner. Well, I got a hair mask, but I didn't get the exact one he recommended because it was like $50, and I couldn't afford that at the moment. But I bought a hair mask that had similar products or similar ingredients than the one he recommended had. That was the best I could do in the short term, because I just couldn't afford to spend $50 on a hair mask at that point in time. But I did buy a hair mask, and I do notice a difference when I use it. It really softens my hair and leaves it really moisturized. And I also bought the spray-on leave-in conditioner that he recommended. I bought that exact same one that he recommended. I bought the bonding oil, the one that he recommended. I bought that. But when I was running low on this stuff, I couldn't afford to spend $30 on another bottle right yet. So I bought this one, which is a little bit bigger in size than the one that he recommended, and I think will last me longer. So I'm good, and it's pretty similar as far as ingredients goes. So I'm hoping that it'll still do the trick, and because I googled what the similarities were between the two hair oils, and if using this hair oil will be just as beneficial for me as using the Olaplex, and it said it would be pretty much just as useful to me as the Olaplex was. So that's why I am using this one instead of the Olaplex temporarily. I do want to go back to using the Olaplex when I have the money to, but right now I couldn't afford that, so I got something that I could afford. I mean, it's better to use something similar that's affordable than not use anything at all. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to end this video now. I don't mean to end it so abruptly, but I just looked at the time, and I have to go to work this afternoon. I normally work in the morning, but today I'm working in the afternoon, and I have to really be prepared for this shift, because this is going to be a nightmare. This shift gets super busy, and last time I worked this shift last week, it was a fucking nightmare. I mean, a nightmare from hell. So, I'll talk to you guys later. I hope that I gave you guys some good info on, for the women out there, for, getting your hair to grow long, if that's what your objective is, to get your hair to grow to a good length at some point in time. It was nice chatting with you guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.